shape. Luque, the older fighter. Same height. Luque came in a little heavier, a pound over. They decided to go at 163 for this. Nick has the reach advantage. And of course, that great wrestling background. And as Luque told us yesterday, the key for him, he thinks, is to get past the first round. This is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, our main event of the evening is being brought to us by Inca Cola, the Golden Cola. Visit us on the web, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Inca Cola USA. That's Inca with a C, Cola with a K, USA. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Houston, Texas, are you ready? It's time for the big one. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 rounds of 5 minutes each in a LFA catchweight division. Introducing first, on my right, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. His official weight, 164 1/4 pounds. This kickboxer has a professional record of 10 wins against 6 defeats. Fighting out of Laredo, Texas, Sonny Luque. And across the cage on my left, fighting out of the red corner, he stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. His official weight, 162 3/4 pounds. This wrestler has a near perfect record, 13 wins and a single defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of West Haven, Connecticut, ladies and gentlemen, notorious Nick Newell. Referee to give final instructions, Chris Reed.
All right, fighters, you've given the instructions in the back room. When I say fight, fight. When I say stop, that means stop. Any questions, red? Any questions, blue? All right, let's touch them up and get back to corner.
Newell has won 9 times in the first round. That's why Luque said it was so important to get by that first round, that Newell can finish you quickly, and that has been his strength. And his bounce back, says he's in great shape. He's usually around 155, so he relished coming in here. Newell did at 163, and here we go. It is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. In some ways, there's almost a championship feel to this for what Newell is hoping this turns into in the long run.
Absolutely. A nice timing on that knee by Newell as Luque came in. Newell's right side forward, being a southpaw. His liver is on the right side. Sonny Luque loves to throw those spinning back kicks to the liver. So the liver is exposed if Luque sets it up.
So Newell, over 2 years in retirement, delivers yet another kick.
Luque trying to come back off the momentum of that kick, taking his leg out. It's actually very smart.
Newell flicking out the kick. Luque trying to move in.
Newell kicking with a kicker. See how it made Luque think there.
And he shoots in. And Luque sprawls out, but momentarily he's lifted up and put down by Newell.
Nice job, lift up, turn him over. Now he's got the legs, figure forward, pinching the legs together, taking the hips and lower body power away from Luque so he can't scramble free and wall walk. Newell working his way up the body. Luque better get this figured out quick.
As he said, the first round, Luque said he's got to get through this first round. He feels comfortable if he can, and putting the pressure on is Newell.
Can he survive the storm on the ground?
Newell with 8 submissions in his 13 career victories. Trying for his 3rd win in a row here, and most important, a big comeback to let everybody know he indeed is on the scene once again.
Trying to dig that choke in.
Trying
put pressure, that's a face crank. It's a lot of pressure there.
He's
that
cranking
hurts.
hard.
That hurts.
He's cranking hard, he's done it. It's over. Welcome back, Nick Newell.
I don't think that was a choke at all. That was a face crank.
First round, Nick Newell puts away the veteran.
UFC, I'm coming, baby. You fucking know.
As he let him know, UFC, he's ready.
I'm coming, he said.
And after a wait of almost 2.5 years, he wins for the 3rd straight time. He goes to 14-1 as a pro and finishes for the 10th time now in the first round.
You know, in the past, you know, leaders at the UFC saying maybe he wasn't going to get in because of his condition. Look, there's a gentleman going in the NFL with the same condition. Baxter Humby was a legitimate world champion in Muay Thai. You got to give people a shot when they perform, doesn't matter.
And Luque, didn't he have it sized up perfectly? He said, I got to get through that first round. That's key.
He's shaking his head and knowing he didn't make it.
But Nick Newell takes him down and finishes for the 10th time with a first round victory. Let's get the official time and back to Colin.
2 minutes, 10 seconds into round number 1. Your winner by rear naked choke. Ladies and gentlemen, he's back, the notorious Nick Newell.
The face crank submission victory for Nick Newell, and he does it in the first round against the veteran Luque. You've been waiting for him? Well, here he is. Indeed, he is back.
Wrestling skills do come in handy. In on the single leg, switches up to the double here. Elevate, turn him over. Nice job on hip control there. And there's the face crank. Basically, the neck was going to give out. Luque was wanting to walk out of here with a healthy cervical spine.
Nick Newell is back. He's 14-1. He has served notice on the UFC and everyone else, and he's standing by with Phoenix.
So we can just easily say ring rust isn't real for you.
I told you ring rust wasn't a thing for me. I've been in the gym since I stopped. I got something to say though, okay? Life is a cold, hard place. It will chew you up and spit you out. But if you make it your bitch, you can do anything. Listen, you can either become a victim of circumstances or you can create your own. I'm out here, I'm creating my own circumstances. I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and I belong in the UFC. That's it, that's final. I gave you 14 reasons why I belong in the UFC. I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and I proved it 14 times.
Nick, I'm gonna leave it at that and just drop the mic for you.
Nick Newell makes his statement.
Nice touch by Phoenix at the end there.
Much to the delight of the audio booth. And there is Newell. And this is an aggressive Newell that we haven't seen that much except in the cage when he's fighting, Pat. He served notice. He didn't skirt around the issue, but he said yes to, yeah, the UFC's his mind, but first let's fight. So he did just that. He fought and he made his move.
If you're performing and the squeaky wheel gets the grease, look, he's making waves, he's back, he's ready to go, he wants in.
And we'd like to congratulate Steve Menard as our Facebook winner. Steve, congratulations. You'll be getting a pair of signed Nick Newell gloves. You might want to hold on to those on this, the night he gets his 14th victory. And maybe the next shot for him is the UFC. We know what's coming up for us. It'll be Access TV Fights Cage Side next week. And then title fight on the line at LFA 36, back up to CES 49 April 6th, and then LFA 37 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on April 20th, right here on your home for MMA Access TV. He does it. Nick Newell returns after 2.5 years and closes out in the first round. On his way perhaps to the UFC. Thanks for being with us. For Pat Miletich, Phoenix Carnivale, I'm Kenny Rice. Good night from Houston.